Hello, welcome to Nedsped. And today, what I plan to do is start a series where I go through every single stinking car and compare it to 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 other cars in a video. In today's topic of cars in which to view, I have pressed the wrong button. Today's topic in which cars to be reviewed will be the 3 slowest cars in the game. So cars are rated on the uniqueness of customization options, the performance when fully maxed out. However, I will be going over how they drive stock. Then it will be compared at last to just how it feels to drive. If it's not fun to drive but it's fast, what's the point? So the 3 cars today will be the 3 100 class cars. So the Volvo Amazon, the Chevrolet C10 Stepside, and the Volkswagen Beetle. Starting off with the VW. So first I'm going to do tests in terms of performance in the time trial over here as I go through these cars and relaying the times that they get at the end of this race. VW Beetle, now. So far the VW is actually pretty fun to drive. Stock, just cruising down it, it's just silly and fun. So that's what I have to say about the VW stock. Is compared, I haven't compared it to anything yet, considering I haven't driven these cars stock before, but other than that, you know. I would say I was driving better that time around, but I actually got overlapped. Not mentioning the fact that I was a whole 16 seconds slower. So that it also feels heavier, so I used the this camera to make myself feel like I was going faster than I really was, just to make it a little more interesting, because it's a boring view. The VW was slow, but its nimbleness made it feel like you were doing something, where this truck is just bulky and slow and weighing me down. So, the Volvo, slightly faster than the pickup. It feels slower off the line, but its corners somewhat make up for it in terms of, like, it's slower off the line, but it not being a massive solid steel pickup truck is made up for by the fact that it can actually somewhat turn. And however, I did get overlapped twice that race, which was weird, considering it was faster. So I'll get to customizing these cars and upgrading them and giving any thoughts that I think I need to say. So here we have the finished VW. A lot of the engine choices for this, you never go into the V category. It's either a flat or an inline. Like, I put the best engine in it, the flat 4, Well, you got all these flat inline I3 hybrid, so you never really deviate from, like, you never get anything funky, like a friggin' V8 in there, but, you know, that's just a thing, and I would like, so I went for more of a, like, just a wide body, yellow, and here's the engine sound. And a lot of the parts on this car are different from each other. Like, I'll give you an example. So you have the stock, and obviously I just went for the wider, but then you have completely removing it, like having that, and then like that little lip there. So there's a lot of unique parts here at play, and then like this headlight color. So there's a lot of unique parts for this, and so I'd give, in terms of customization, an 8 out of 10. And then we will now move on to the pickup. So here is my pickup truck. And in terms of customization, this thing actually has a lot more than I expected. Because I didn't know what they kept or removed from Payback. But I changed the truck bed, and it actually like changed the internals of it, along with not only letting me choose between different fenders, but just getting this type of truck bed, which I like. They just move same uniform shape all along it, and I decided to black it out. You can change the grille, and it like changes the amount of headlights in one of them, which is the one I went for. And this is, since it's a Chevy, I actually allowed myself to LS swap something. It is not turbocharged, it is supercharged, and there are some crazy engine options for this. So you got the LS, the stock. You can put a flat 12 from a Ferrari Testarossa, a V12, a V10, V8, a V12, and a forged V6. I don't know what that's from, but the forged V6. So that's what my main issue with it is you can't get the performance indexed full race. Well, it's on full race, but it's not all the way down on road, which really bothers me. Which means this thing's still gonna handle like a boat. So, but in terms of customization, I give it, what did I give the VW, an 8? The VW got an 8, I give this an 8.5. I hate to be complimenting a Chevy, but they did a good job. Now, next, the Volvo. So, the Volvo. The Volvo is, customization wise, it's lacking. Like, if you look at the front fenders, okay, you got this, you got an arch, a carbon arch. Like, these are just a different, slightly wider carbon arch, and then this. So there's, in some ways, more options than the Beetle, but they're more boring and lackluster. So, and like, there's only one side skirt. It's just, the one thing it has for me is 2 roof options, which not many cars have any roof options, but where it lacks in visuals, it has a V8 from a Jag, the stock inline 4, a rotary, a V8 from a BMW, a V6 from something, like, it has some unique engines. But performance-wise, it's, looking at the numbers, average, and customization-wise, so in terms of customization, I have to give this one maybe a 4, a 5, maybe even a 3 at best. So now we will go back to the previous track, and I'll drive the cars around and see how they do and give my final rating on each. So the upgraded VW is quick. Like, not in terms of, oh, compared to how it originally no. This thing's fast. I overlap 2 people. So, and it's fun to drive. Like, if you want a budget Porsche, you go with a Beetle. The corner's tight. It feels fun to drive. It's fast. Like, I have no complaints for this Beetle at all. Now it's time for the C10 pickup. So, the Chevy C10. Still, it feels like the extra speed it got from performance upgrades mixed with the like handling upgrades. It handles the same. I don't feel like it's improved at all. Like, it was a whole 10 seconds slower than the VW. And on such a short track. Like, if you flick in normal cars, if you flick the steering stick left and right, back and forth really quick, the car will show signs of, like, wanting to turn. Nothing. Handles like a boat. Yeah, it's a truck, but I would want my hard-earned money into handling to go somewhere, so it's probably best an off-roader where it can slide on dirt, but if you're trying to build a track car, avoid this pickup. The Volvo. You know, like, it's in a weird middle zone. The fact that it feels fast. Like, if you're driving it on your own, if there's no competition, and there's no, like, if you don't have anything to compare it to, it feels fast. It feels fun to drive. But in a race, it corners better than the pickup, definitely. Like, I can force it to take this corner. I messed up there. But the way it drives is a little weird. It feels light in the middle of a corner, but entering or leaving a corner, it feels heavy. And that's weird about it. It's faster in the straights than the pickup, but the VW just beats the other two in every way. Except for probably strength and weight, if you're going up against the cops, but this is just a weird pick. So, in my opinion, I would give the Volvo an overall 6 out of 10. The performance is lacking, as well as visual customization, and it's lacking in a weird way where I feel like it could be fast if you learn how to control it, but not as fast as this. Like, you can tell just by the stats, this has a better top speed, but it's going to be a lot harder to reach that top speed with the lower acceleration and maneuverability of the VW. So, this gets a 5.5 out of 10, somewhere in there. This VW is insane. It's fast, it's nimble, it's quick. Like, you put a Porsche engine in a Beetle and boom, you're done. You're good. That's all you need. So, I rate this solid 8 out of 10. Really good. Fine car. It's amazing. The pickup. Now, if I were to be making an off-road build, I feel I might go for it if I was going for an off-road. But because in this, I'm just going to be comparing nothing but street builds. Maybe it is a little unfair to compare something meant to off-road to street cars, but most everyone does in this game is just that, street cars. So if I were to be going for a rally build, maybe I'd give it another shot. Maybe I'd, maybe it's just an off-road car and I'm using it wrong, but in terms of street, I don't know. 3 out of 10 is my choice. If you really want a Chevy, don't